is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Jeffrey Housenbold. As the visionary CEO of Shutterfly, Jeff Housenbold has created exciting synergies between the very newest of new media and our most ancient human desires to connect with one another. His company has made it easy and fun for families and friends, neighbors, classmates, and communities all over the world to share achievements, important moments, and occasions like commencements, for example. But Jeff has also created in Shutterfly an unusually effective organization that's widely respected for its ability to support and sustain innovation and creativity among its employees. Shutterfly has made just about every list of the best places to work in America. That success can be attributed to the intentional leadership tone that Jeff sets right from the top. On a personal note, Jeff came to Carnegie Mellon University as an undergraduate student, the very first in his family to go to university. And while he was here, he worked on 7 different jobs. He not only aced his subjects, got through straight A's in his first year, but also received a number of scholarships that enabled him to go on to master's degree and to his subsequent successful career. As somebody whose personal life journey has mirrored that of Jeff's, it's my great pleasure to admire him, to look up to him, and to see what he has accomplished. It's my great pleasure now to introduce our alumnus and university trustee, Jeffrey Housenbold.
I wanted to show Brian old guys do selfies too. Thank you, Dr. Suresh, for your very kind introduction. It's great to be back at my alma mater and in Pittsburgh, one of the best cities in the entire country. And I'm glad I'm wearing this very unconforming robe today. It's hiding my stomach from the Primanti Brothers sandwich and the O-Fries last night. But first, I'd like to welcome the president, deans, distinguished faculty, staff, fellow trustees, supportive friends and family, proud parents, but most importantly, the graduating class of 2014. You all deserve that applause for making it through the CMU gauntlet. But I was flattered and humbled when Dr. Suresh asked me to be your commencement speaker today. But frankly, I was a little worried and stressed. I wonder why he asked me to speak today, especially since those that have come before me included vice presidents of the United States, famous actors and directors, inspiring professors close to their last lectures, and even people who had to cut off their hand to survive. Seriously, following Aaron is a tough act. But I began obsessing about what wisdom could I impart on a group of such smart and talented young women and men. I went through 10 drafts. I started over 3 times. And then I did what I did so many times during my tenure at Carnegie Mellon. I took a shot of 24-hour energy and pulled an all-nighter. In preparation, I asked some of your classmates about what you wanted to hear today from me. And through that process, I realized you didn't want the magic answer, not a single piece of advice on how to tackle the world post-CMU. You simply wanted to hear a few words of wisdom about how to succeed in your career and some thoughts about life in general. So as a CMU alumnus, CEO, and father of 3 boys, I'm going to share a little bit about my life story and a few thoughts as you transition to the next phase of your life. And hopefully, you'll take away a few nuggets of advice in between texting your classmates, launching Tinder to find a girlfriend in the city you're moving to, posting a selfie on Instagram, or Snapchatting with that cute guy you met at Club Hunt. This is the second Carnegie Mellon commencement I've attended in my lifetime, and both were great honors and represented a personal triumph for myself. However, this time, I'm not hungover, and I didn't need to borrow someone's tie. I grew up in a poor family in Brooklyn, New York, where we relied on welfare, go Brooklyn, and food stamps for survival. My dad had a 7th grade education and was functionally illiterate. It wasn't a given that I would attend college based upon my upbringing and lack of supportive role models in my life. In fact, even those whose job it was to inspire and to encourage tried to dissuade me from attending college. In my junior year of high school, I asked my guidance counselor, what schools should I apply to? And he said, you were good at woodshop. Maybe you should be a construction worker. And I said, a little angered and frustrated, I want to go to college. And he said, Middlesex Community College has a good carpentry program, and you'd be lucky to get admitted. Now fully outraged and determined, I said I wanted to go to a 4-year college. And so he said, if you want to piss away $35 applying to Rutgers, that's your own choice. So just going to college would have been a victory. But my perseverance, desire to change my lot in life, a bit of luck, and of course, the desire to impress my high school girlfriend, the salutatorian, led me to Carnegie Mellon. I vividly remember that day as I was embarking upon a journey down the turnpike from New Jersey to Pittsburgh. My mom, with tears in her eyes as she gave me a chock full of nuts coffee can full of change, with $386.21 in it, and that was my entire college fund. But I fought my way into CMU, and after 4 years of all-nighters, 7 different work-study jobs, including working at Entropy, the Children's School, campus security, and being a desk attendant at what is now known as Shea Donner, having dumpster dived for pizza more times than I care to admit, sleeping in front of the fence, participating in Carnival, trying to beat SDC and Fringe at Buggy, graduating as an ACS Presidential Scholar with double majors in economics and business, I can confidently say I am glad I didn't listen to my guidance counselor or any of the naysayers in my life. So this is one of my key messages for you today, that you will hear a lot of no's in your life. How will you overcome obstacles? How will you turn negativity into motivation? What is the strength of your will and character? When I was growing up, too many people told me I was not good enough in some way. I was too short, from the wrong side of the tracks. I practiced the wrong religion. I wasn't handsome enough, nor smart enough to succeed. Fortunately, from my early high school days and throughout my life, I decided not to believe the detractors. In fact, they all just simply got me more mad and more determined to show them that David could beat Goliath. But I'm not unique and alone in this manner. Many famous and successful people were told no, they failed, or they were born into unfortunate circumstances. But that didn't let them define who they were. They continued, and they persevered, and ultimately they succeeded by the will and character that they had. For example, Bill Gates' first company was a failure. Stephen King's first book got turned down 30 times. Jay-Z couldn't get signed to a record label. Van Gogh only sold 1 painting in his lifetime. Howard Schultz was told that his idea for selling coffee was stupid. And Steven Spielberg got rejected by USC twice. And even Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times before he discovered the light bulb. My hope is that you all find your inner courage to tell the naysayers no, and go out and prove them wrong. Make sure, as you obtain positions of authority and leadership, that you encourage those around you to be the best that they can be. As I was reflecting upon my time at CMU in preparation for today, I was struck by how so much has changed since I sat in your seats in May of 1991, and yet how so little has changed. For example, in 1991, the Cold War came to an end. The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics dissolved into 15 sovereign countries, and just a few short months before, the Berlin Wall had come down. The Gulf War and Operation Desert Storm began, which marked the beginning of the United States military presence in the Middle East, which continues till today. We had global conflicts around the world, natural disasters, and technology was changing the way that we worked, fought wars, and communicated with one another. In addition, we were in a recession with unemployment rates reaching 8%, and yet the Dow Jones crossed an all-time high at 3,000. Does any of this sound eerily familiar to 2014? You may feel you're graduating into a particularly uncertain time, but the world has always been a challenging place. With your diploma in hand, your intelligence and determination, and the 95,000 supportive CMU alumni in over 130 countries around the world, I am confident that you will, as I did and many since, find your own path to success. Remember what Joseph Campbell said, opportunities to find deeper powers within ourselves come when life seems the most challenging. So while you may not think the world I graduated into was very similar, I see many, many similarities. As I look at my career, the biggest event in 1991 that impacted my life was this little project by a man named Tim Berners-Lee. He announced the World Wide Web on the alt.hypertext newsgroup, leading to the very first website, thus altering my future and all of our lives forever. Today, as you graduate, the world is still in conflict. Minorities are still persecuted. Middle Eastern unrest remains. Politicians continue to let power corrupt them, and advances in technology brings upon both positive and negative changes. So no, the world will never be perfect, as it is run by imperfect humans. But don't fret. You will find your way in the world, and I am confident you will make it a better place. As of today, you have a degree from an exceptional university, a gift that you are just beginning to understand. The rest of your life, you will be able to fall back on your education, allowing you to take greater risks and to set your sights even higher. For some, knowing what life's calling is has been obvious since they were singing, coding, acting, or building robots in their garage at the age of 6. For others, including me, finding one's passion is more of a journey. So take risks, be willing to fail, experiment as you figure out what your passion in life is, and then have the courage to pursue it. In a word, be bold. If you are passionate about the work, it will not be work. Perhaps you'll find some comfort or insights as I share my story about how I came to find my passion of building businesses that use technology to help people strengthen their relationships. I worked in banking and consulting right after school. I was inspired by movies like Wall Street, yes, the original, partially because it paid well and I felt I had to pay back my student loans quickly, and in part to learn skills like the ability to synthesize data, to articulate a point of view, to interact with senior management, and initiate change within organizations. Although I learned a lot in those fields, after 6 years, I realized I wanted to be part of a more entrepreneurial environment where I could help build a company and in some way change the world. From the time I left the relative safety of banking and consulting, I've worked at 5 different companies over the past 16 years. All of these experiences have had some things in common. First, they were startups with uncertain futures. I was passionate about their products and services. I had mentors that allowed me to be entrepreneurial and creative and have real impact. And perhaps, most importantly, they all had missions that were both aspirational and inspirational. In 1999, the internet boom was happening, and I joined Raging Bull, one of the very first finance websites, as employee number 7. It was founded by 3 20-year-old college dropouts, and it competed against much larger companies like Yahoo, the Wall Street Journal, and Reuters. 2 years later, when most thought we would fail, we beat the incumbents, and we ultimately sold the company to AltaVista, one of the very first search engines where I became the general manager. What I loved about AltaVista was that our tagline was "Smart is beautiful." Isn't that appropriate for Carnegie Mellon? Our mission was to unlock the world's knowledge for everyone. And again, I found myself as an underdog, fighting against much larger companies like Yahoo, AOL, and Lycos. Unfortunately, the internet bubble burst in March of 2000. AltaVista failed to go public, and my paper millions turned into a shattered dream. During that difficult period of time, I had to lay off more than 400 of the 630 people that worked for me, including the best man in my wedding and the guardian of my children. While that experience was painful both personally and professionally, I learned so much, and I grew as a leader, a manager, and a person. After picking myself back up, I realized failures like AltaVista were part of being entrepreneurial and taking risks. So I decided to try my luck again, and I turned down my offers from Disney and Yahoo and instead joined a very small internet auction company called eBay. eBay was founded by Pierre Omidyar on the belief that people are basically good and that we could fundamentally change the way people exchange goods and services through the use of technology. During my 4 years at eBay, I held several leadership positions that helped the company grow from 1,000 people to more than 15,000. And while at eBay, I sharpened my business and leadership skills, learned how to scale a fast-growing organization, built a world-class team, and pioneered new marketing techniques. After 4 exciting years, I left in 2005 to join Shutterfly. It was an ambitious step, but I was excited to bring my creativity and business skills to a young company to create a great place to work that was also a high-performance company. And in some ways, I relished the chance to once again prove the naysayers wrong. Joining Shutterfly was another risky bet, especially as a new dad. I was leaving a safe and well-paying job at one of the world's most profitable and well-known internet companies. I remember my wife saying, "You are crazy, but if you're excited, I already said yes, so go for it." And so my excitement exceeded my fears, and like so many times before, I decided to choose the uncertain path. As it turned out, even though I was hired to take the company public, we were in such disarray that I delayed the IPO. I subsequently hired a new management team, pivoted our focus from being a photo finisher to a company founded on storytelling and personal connections. And I defined a strategy that would help us win, change the culture from one being demarcated by surviving the internet bust to one demarcated by innovation and customer centricity. And I created a mission and a vision that would inspire us to achieve more collectively than any of us individually thought we could. Our vision became, and still is to this day, to make the world a better place by helping people share life's joy. And Shutterfly had huge competitors like Yahoo and Apple and Walmart and Google and Hallmark and Kodak. And by all accounts, we should have been crushed. But we didn't. We thrived. Almost 10 years later, we've grown the company from nearly $50 million to close to $1 billion in annual revenue. We've captured more than 60% of the market. We survived the great financial crisis. And our customers today trust us with more than 22 billion of their precious life's memories. I'm truly lucky to be a part of a company that brings smiles to our customers and our employees on a daily basis. During your time at CMU, you've sat at the intersection of major technological, artistic, and cultural changes. This, coupled with rigorous analytical and problem-solving skills, a tradition of innovation, a multidisciplinary and team-based approach, along with a sense of greater good, has provided the foundation for you to truly change the world. I am confident as you look towards the future and you find where your heart's in the work, that there will be members of this graduating class making important contributions across many disciplines, including engineering, art, science, humanities, public policy, business, and technology. So whether you are working on self-generating and low-cost architectural structures, building computers that you control with your mind, creating new businesses and nonprofits fueled by crowdfunding, social graphs, mobile, and big data, devising bionics using nanotechnology, stem cells, and 3D bioprinters, writing the next Academy Award-winning motion picture, or inventing robots fueled by zero-sized intelligence and quantum electrodynamics. Here are a few things that, as CEO, I thought you might like to consider as you venture out into the workforce. Find a company where you are truly passionate by their products and services and where you respect the people. Invest in the future. Take risks. Be willing to sacrifice title and sometimes compensation in the short run for experiences that will help you succeed in the long run. Keep in mind that nobody but you is going to manage your career. So seek out a rabbi at work. It could be your boss, a CMU alum, a person 2 years older than you, or the chairman. Find someone who really loves mentoring and ask them for help. Always, always act with high integrity. Bring solutions, not just problems. And when you make mistakes, and you will, say you're sorry. Work hard, but more importantly, smarter than anyone else. And don't be constrained by your job description. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Take calculated risks. Be willing to get fired or promoted. Don't just exist. And if you are unhappy, and after trying to improve things, quit. Life is too short to be unhappy. Your diploma from CMU is a true differentiator, and regardless of what field of endeavor you choose, I encourage you not to squander the opportunities that will present themselves. Take chances. Put yourself in the position for opportunity to knock at your door, and when it knocks, have the courage to answer. I mentioned that despite my success in business, the most important things to me in my life have been centered around my family, especially my wife Ruth and my 3 boys who are here today. As I sat in my living room and worked on my speech, I thought about the important lessons that I would want my 3 sons to hear upon their graduation from college, and with enough donations and a math tutor, perhaps from Carnegie Mellon. And I hope some of these resonate with you. Most importantly, remember that the time on earth is very short, and you should make the most of your lives. The average person lives to 88. Or said in another way, they have 1,056 months on earth. And for the average undergraduate in the audience who is 21, that means you have 804 months left. So make the most of your time. Treat each month as precious, and make sure you are enjoying each month, investing to make your future months better, helping someone else enjoy their months, or since all of you are overachievers, do all 3. So here are a few thoughts about making the most out of life. Don't just do what is easy, do what is right. Choose passion and impact, not just money, and devote yourselves to lifelong learning. Do acts of unselfish selfishness. It'll make you feel better. Be part of something bigger than yourself. Find a group, a club, a cause, or an organization. Revel in belonging and in the sense of a shared purpose. Fall madly, deeply in love, and if you're going to kiss, kiss passionately. Say, I love you. It's easy, and it's not said enough. Make friends with those who will make you laugh and love you for who you are and not what you do. And lastly, keep in mind one of my favorite philosophers said. His name is Mike Tyson. Everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth. So when you get knocked down, think about what you learned. Think about what you can do different or better. Get your ass off the ground and get back in the ring. So as I wrap up our time together today, remember, dream big, set ambitious goals, find your passion, and take risks in life. Go make the most of your remaining 804 months. Make a few lifelong friends. Fall in love, enjoy the ride, and follow Andrew Carnegie's advice when he said there is little success where there is little laughter. And finally, don't let the naysayers discourage you. Take their negativity and turn it into your own personal determination. And remember, David beat Goliath. Thank you for the opportunities to speak today. Congratulations on all of your achievements so far. I'm confident that your CMU diploma and the skills you've learned at this great institution will help you navigate the world as you find your passion and achieve great things in work and life. Congratulations, class of 2014.